You know how with a traditional car, there's just a whole list of things you expect.
Yeah, the regular maintenance schedule.
Exactly. The oil
Mhm.
changes, maybe valve adjustments, belts, hoses, eventually an exhaust rattle,
Yeah.
spark plugs, just lots of mechanical bits wearing down.
Right.
But electric cars, EVs, they seem fundamentally different, don't they?
Yeah.
Fewer moving parts, maybe simpler tech?
Uh,
Or is that too simple a view?
hmm
What does that difference really mean for keeping one running smoothly, fixing things, or just, the regular checkups?
That's precisely the core of what we're getting into today. We've been looking through quite a bit of material on this, including a really comprehensive expert guide focused specifically on EV repair and servicing.
Okay, great. So our mission for this deep dive is to kind of cut through the assumptions. We want to unpack the key differences between maintaining an EV and, say, a traditional petrol or diesel car.
Yeah, giving you the specific insights you need about what owning and servicing an EV really
So
involves.
what's the first big takeaway from the sources?
Well, what jumps out immediately is how the propulsion system's simplicity, relatively speaking, changes the whole maintenance game.
That's
Because there's no internal combustion engine with all its, hundreds of moving parts, things like routine oil changes for the drivetrain, just gone
completely gone.
completely, and complex exhaust systems prone to rust and leaks. Not there either.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit more. So
Mhm.
no engine oil, no exhaust work. What else disappears?
Hmm.
And what about the brakes? I've heard EVs are easier on brakes. Is that true?
That's a key one, yes. EVs use regenerative braking.
Right, where the motor slows the car down.
Exactly. And it sends energy back to the battery. The material we reviewed really highlights how this drastically cuts down wear on the friction brakes.
Hmm.
The traditional pads and
As
rotors.
it's less, where are we talking?
Well, one section in the expert guide even suggested brake pads could potentially last well over 100,000 miles, maybe even the lifetime of the car in some cases. Now, obviously that depends heavily on driving style and conditions, but it's a huge difference compared to typical petrol cars. You might still need to check calipers, brake fluid, that sort of thing, but the pad wear is often minimal.
Okay, but here's where it gets interesting, I think. If some things get simpler or just disappear, the complexity must shift somewhere else, right?
Uh,
You're dealing with this massive battery pack, high voltage systems. That sounds like it needs a whole new kind of expertise.
it absolutely
Yeah.
does. And the sources we looked at really hammer this point home. EVs have sophisticated high voltage electrical systems.
We're talking the battery itself.
The battery pack, yes, but also the inverters, converters, the motor control unit. We're talking voltages that are potentially lethal.
Right. Not something for the average home mechanic.
Definitely not. Servicing or repairing these parts isn't just about nuts and bolts. It requires highly specialized training, specific diagnostic tools for the car's software, and really stringent safety protocols.
Like what kind of protocols?
Well, the guide we reviewed detailed specific things like lockout-seckout procedures, using special insulated tools. A standard mechanic, even a good one, without specific EV certification and the right equipment, simply cannot safely or effectively work on these core high-voltage parts.
So it's not necessarily less maintenance overall than just a big shift away from mechanical complexity towards um, electrical and software complexity, demanding different skills, different tools.
Precisely.
But even with fewer big drivetrain headaches,
Yeah.
surely there are still routine checks every EV owner needs to keep on top of.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. While the propulsion system is simpler, the rest of the car still needs looking after.
What?
The sources make it clear. Routine maintenance still includes essentials like checking tire condition and pressure, which is crucial actually given the instant torque and often higher weight of EVs.
Good point.
You still need to replace the cabin air filter, check steering and suspension components, and importantly, monitor and top up various fluids.
Okay, fluids. Not engine oil, obviously, but what else?
Brake fluid, naturally.
Yeah.
And very importantly, battery coolant and motor coolant.
Battery coolant. Okay, why is that different or maybe more critical than coolant in a regular car?
That's a good question. The material explained that thermal management, basically keeping the battery and motor at their best operating temperatures, is absolutely vital.
For what? Performance?
Sort of range.
Both.
Both. And also for the long-term health and lifespan of the battery itself. These systems often use very specific, specialized coolants and quite intricate cooling loops.
So they need checking regularly.
Yes, periodic checks for leaks, coolant condition, and making sure the levels are right. It's really a key part of preventing potentially expensive problems later on and just keeping the whole thing efficient.
Okay. So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, the listener, if you own or are thinking about an EV?
Well, it means some of the familiar, maybe slightly grimy chores might vanish, like, wrestling with an oil filter.
I
But you gain this reliance on technicians with very specialized high-tech skills for the unique core parts, the battery, the high voltage system.
While still needing to pay attention to the conventional bits like tires, brakes, even if less often, and those specific fluids.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, while some routine stuff might be simpler or less frequent, the specialized and potentially more costly nature of high voltage repairs.
And that need for specific thermal management know-how.
Right. It means where you get your car service becomes maybe even more critical than with a traditional car.
Hmm. That really highlights how things are changing, doesn't it? For car ownership and for the skills mechanics will need going forward.
Definitely. A significant shift in the whole automotive landscape.
Absolutely something to think about as EVs become more common. Finding the right technician with the right training really matters. Hey, if you found this deep dive useful, please do give us a like and maybe subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss our future explorations into interesting topics just like this one.